Are you a hopeless romantic? Are you into dating shows, reality shows, and especially on networks ready to love? If so, you've come to the right place. We are about to do another review reaction video of episode 8, season 4 of Ready to Love. Stay tuned. Hi there, Simpli Subbies. Welcome back to another installment or another episode of the Simpli Living Podcast. This is another review and reaction of the OWN Network's Ready to Love, season 4. This is episode 8 called The X Factor. So let's get into it. But before we do, let's do a real quick recap of last week. Last week was like WTF, shock of all shocks. I have heard some behind the scenes stuff, and so I think how they edit the show, some things we really didn't see. So when David picked Kyra and Joel picked Kyra, it was some stuff really we just didn't see. David said he had literally gone on just as many dates with Kyra as he did with Liz. They just did not show them all. And sometimes they show them, but they didn't show him on the date. But he was actually on some of those group dates with Kyra as well. So that's a little bit different. So I'm like, okay, he didn't just, make this up. And then Kyra even said on an interview I saw of her that she actually had Jason, AJ, and David in her top 3 the majority of the time. So it wasn't that much of a shock. Joelle, on the other hand, she said she literally never really went on a date with him. He was a friendly guy to all the cast members and all the women, and he would always send them good morning messages and see what their days were, what they were getting into in their days. And one day she happened to be dropping a girlfriend off at the airport, and she told him that, when he reached out to her, he's like, oh, you're in my neck of the woods, let's grab a bite. So they did, but it wasn't a date scenario, it wasn't a date situation. So in her mind, she said she was really shocked when it was Joelle who said her name as well. And just because he had that little disagreement on the phone the night before with Vernicia, his number 1. So I'm throwing all of my original recommendations out the window. I had Vernicia and Joel as my number 1. He picked Kyra last week, so they're no longer my top couples, even though I still think they'll make it. I don't know how they're going to get past it, because I have a huge feeling that this week the ladies are going to find out who actually put them in the bottom, and it's not going to be nice for your number 1 to put you in the bottom. Also, David and Liz. David picked Kyra all over again last week. I mean, he picked her for the first time last week and not Liz. So there goes that one. So I guess right now I'm still on KG, Smooth, and Amber for my top pick, because they did have a great day and the friends actually liked her. And then I guess it's Alexis and Ron after that. But I'm really not feeling them. I'm still really feeling Vernicia and Joel and David and Liz. And I don't know why, because they are all having a tumultuous relationship right now. And I think when the women find out, they're going to be more hurt than anything else that these men, basically, especially Liz, she was in the bottom along with Chrysanthemum last week, and she could have gone home because David did not choose her. So I know that's going to be a tough pill for her to swallow, but I can't wait to see this. I believe from the previews from last week, the X Factor means that the men are going to meet the exes of the ladies that they're really feeling. And so this should be interesting. I don't know how many of my exes I would want in a room together. I know, right? But either way, guys, let's get to it. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, Chrysanthemum went home last week. So we are down another lady. This week, it must be a guy. It looks like all the ladies are meeting up at Tommy's house with his wife. Jacqueline Miles is his wife. Okay, Kyra's dress is super cute. This little yellow number is super cute, Kyra.
To be in his house, that's a big deal for Nephew Tommy to entrust us and bring us in like family to talk to him.
Leah's looking like a first lady with her turtleneck, her blazer, and her pearls. Also, Nephew Tommy is there as well. He named his wife. They matching. Tommy and his wife with a cream and black on.
Now listen, I know this is not the real ladies' lounge.
It's better than the ladies' lounge.
I brought a very important lady with me. We go back like Cadillac seats. We met in college, 1986.
Way back.
She already know what I'm thinking half the time. She know when I'm mad. She can sense it all.
I do.
She see me out there on that patio with a glass of wine. He going through something.
I sense it when he's mad. I give him his space. When he's mad. Yes. Yes.
That's a beautiful thing. That's beautiful.
All right, well, you know what time it is. It's time to move forward.
Yes.
Since you got to meet some very important people in the men's lives, it's only fair they get to meet some important people from your life, too.
Okay.
Or maybe somebody who used to be important.
Hey, what's wrong with this?
This week, I want you to introduce the men to your exes.
Oh, hold on now.
See,
The ladies not feeling this. They met the men's friends last
we
week,
have to bring an ex.
and now they have to meet, the men have to meet their ex.
He was buttering us up in his house and making us feel all good so he could drop that ball on us.
Come on, the ones that you keyed their car, that one, yeah. Hey, that one right there. All right, on a serious note, watch how your guy acts in this situation.
That's important.
It's
I
gonna
wonder
tell you a
if
lot.
an ex would actually just like want to come
I
on
also
here.
want you to use this moment to get your ex's perspective on your new relationship. Okay? Because they know you. Do y'all still have decent relationship with your exes?
I do. I'm about to find out.
Okay, Bernicia on this level.
Thank you for coming to meet me today.
Yeah,
I think I met somebody that I connected with.
we did.
Maybe you can kind of give me some insight on him, and maybe you can give him some insight when it comes to me.
I'll do that.
This is going to be interesting. This is not my first rodeo with dealing with an ex meeting a current or a potential current mate. I wasn't nervous, but I was a little excited to see how David would take to Joel. If he gets Joel the way that I get him, and think that Joel would be a good fit for me.
Okay, so first up is Bernicia and her ex, David. He's an attractive guy, and she basically sits him down and say, hey, I think I've met somebody, and I kind of wanted you to meet with him. Let me know what you think of him. Maybe you can give him some insight onto who I am. And she said she's more excited, I guess, than nervous to see if he can, like, get a good vibe from Joel and stuff like that, so... Now we're at Alexis Fly's house.
The thing with Ron is he has said the right things, he's done the right things, and he made me first choice, which I absolutely love because it's something that I haven't had in my previous relationships. It's funny because they say Ponce is supposed to be the perfect match, but
We ain't make it.
we ain't made it.
And her ex Joseph is coming. What the heck Joel got on? This hat, child. It's different.
David, there you are, man.
So, this is one of my exes.
Okay, how you doing?
So it looked like Joel didn't even know that this was an ex day. He said it's a surprise.
There, she looking good. But bam, he's sitting there. Before she tell me, it could have been her brother, cousin, oh, I don't know. You feel me? No. Her ex.
And I don't think Bernicia knows that Joel did not say her name last week as top one. Like, she's super excited. She wants him to meet her ex. She's still in this mindset, Lord, I don't even want to see what's going to happen when she finds out he didn't even pick her because he thinks she's clingy and controlling. Hopefully David can dispel that myth.
Man. Okay.
Oh, you look nice.
So this is my ex-boyfriend.
How you doing, brother? It's Joseph Brown.
Do you want to sit over here for me?
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't tell you.
Okay, so Ron comes in there at Alexis Fly's house. Her ex Joseph is already sitting there on the couch, her ex-boyfriend. Ron comes in, she gives him a hug, says, hey, this is my ex Joseph. And then she asks Ron, can you sit over there across from her? She sits on the couch next to Joseph. I wonder how Ron feels about that. I probably would have sat next to Ron or just somewhere not next to either one of them. But okay, Alexis, girl.
That you were going to meet Joseph over here. This is who I dated before my ex-husband.
Okay.
So we go back even further.
I feel confident about it. You know, I'm confident with myself. I wasn't worried about, him being an ex or anything. I was actually curious to kind of see how he felt about being in a relationship with Alexis.
I could kind of tell, the chemistry at the door, so that was good. That was a plus.
She's a good girl, man. Like, definitely a catch.
If an argument was to jump off, how would you handle it?
I argue kind of logically. Like, I argue like a guy.
In her emotions, she still needs to know you care.
No, I get it. And I got to work on that myself.
Yeah.
Words affirmation hasn't been my strong suit in the past, so.
So, are you jealous type? Our fellas gonna kind of, eyes gonna be kind of, y'all chilling in the club, and then you gonna get the drink, and the dude will kind of walk up, and that's a good thing, because like I said, I see y'all sometimes.
Okay, so Joseph and Alexis and Ron. So Joseph had some pretty good questions. He said, I saw the chemistry at the door. I think y'all had a good chemistry and vibe. That's a good thing. He asked him how he argues. Ron's answer was like, chronologically like a man, argue like a man. And he basically was saying like, well, regardless of however you guys have an argument or something like that, she needs to know that you care. And then Ron says, words of affirmations. I haven't been good with that in the past, but I know I need to work on it. Okay, we're going between the scenes now. So now we're back to Vernicia, Joel, and Vernicia's ex, David. And he asking Joel, like, are you a jealous guy? Like, if you're in the club, somebody looking at it. She like, I don't think you're a jealous type, are you? He's like, no.
A lot of dudes always.
And he always like, you got a fan club? I'm like,
She finds the money up, dog. Yeah.
Joel, like, she fine. Like, of course she got a fan
She's
club.
scared now.
I ain't scared.
Is she clingy?
Oh. So Joel comes right out and said, he told Vernicia, don't get scared. She like, I ain't scared about nothing. Go ahead, ask your question. He asked David, is she clingy? Now, that was one of his main reasons. The friend from his date, the girl Shay, was like feeding into this clingy thing. And then Joel was like, he was kind of feeling that same way too. And that's why he didn't pick her. So I can't wait to hear this answer.
No.
He said no.
That wasn't hard, was it?
Like, you're a real religious man?
Yeah.
Stop. I get spilt, yo. Religion coming off you. That's why I asked you the question.
Like, when he decided to go into the church, it was his decision, but he gives me credit for helping to move him towards his faith, because he wasn't really thinking, he wasn't on the church.
I was a little concerned about that, because I left the church. I hadn't been in the church, for a little while. I was jaded. I was like, preachers are greedy. They trying to take his money. I had a bad experience.
You know what?
Okay, so Alexis fly again. Ron says, are you a religious guy? And the ex Joseph is like, yeah, I'm religious. He's like, I could just feel it, coming off of you, like you're a religious guy. But I left the church and I'm a little bit concerned about that. And Alexis was basically saying that Joseph went to the church on his own, but he does attribute her to helping him get back into his spirituality and into the church. And Ron is like, he was jaded. He left the church. He thought pastors was greedy and all this stuff. So it just doesn't seem like a really good fit, him and Alexis, because, she's a former first lady. She said she's really still a Christian woman. She doesn't talk like Liz does all the time about like celibacy and all that stuff. But every episode, you still know that she's still a Christian woman.
I'm big on communication.
But what made you bring that up, girl?
Because, man, you've been like,
You want to give him an example?
I can. We plan to meet.
Right.
And then after he was done doing what he was doing, I told him, hey, just call me when you're finished.
Right.
He didn't call. 3 hours passed. I said, hey, you still, or whatever. We were waiting to go eat. Now, you know how a woman is about going to eat, and I ate. Like, I was angry. I was so angry at the same time. He said, if I didn't call you, that means plans had changed. Something came up.
Right.
But he didn't communicate. I'm not just supposed to know that.
Well, no.
Okay, so remember at the deliberation last week, Joel was like, him and Vernicia had this phone conversation and it didn't go well. And that was another thing that made him just off the top of his dome say Kyra's name. So she was talking on this little trio date with her ex, and she's like, yeah, we, communication, because we be kind of bumping heads. And so Joel's like, you want to give an example? Like, go fill him in then. So she says what happened is they had plans to go eat, but he had an engagement. So she said, call me when you're done with the engagement, thinking like we're going to go and link up and we're going to get food. So he says that plans changed. She says 3 hours goes by. So she hit him up with a text like, hey, are you still busy doing what you were doing? And he was like, oh yeah, well, plans changed or something. She's like, well, you never told me that. Am I supposed to know that? Like, how was I going to know that if you didn't tell me? So the ex-David was like, nah, you weren't supposed to just know that. Not Joel looking crazy.
He felt like I should just automatically know that the plans had shifted because he didn't call me. I'm like, no, I don't read minds. I need you to communicate with me. I don't care what's going on. Let me know.
I agree with her 100%. Just communicate. People could avoid arguments.
Oh yeah. I could have looked at my phone. You see what I'm saying? I might not be a good texter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just be aware of what I put in place. Kind of remind myself.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget about V. You feel me?
Right.
David understood both sides. And I'm happy that he kind of like was a neutral ground and just didn't just take her side. See, it's good to have people like that. D, man, it was a pleasure.
Okay, so Joel said, well, because David asked, like, well, do you think there's a way y'all could have communicated better in that instance? And Joel was honest. He said, I could have looked at my phone. I'm not really big on texter, but if I already knew I put something in place with V, I should have checked back up on it, which absolutely you should, sir. So that actually went pretty well. And I think it dispelled whatever myths that he had that she was clingy and whatever the friend was talking about last week. I still think she's going to be mad when she found out he put her in the bottom. But other than that, it looked like they might still be rocking. So my number one couple might still be a thing.
And I ain't going to get you. Come here to help me with this year.
He helped me.
No, he helped me. Overall, that was a really good setting for all three of us. All right, see you later, man. All right, D. All right.
I'm never going to do a full 180 and become a minister or a pastor or be in church 3-4 days. That ain't me. You know what I mean? I wanted to be upfront with her. She's expecting somebody to just grow into this super religious person. I might not be the one. It's not going to be forced on me. So that's my concern.
Is it important to me that the man I'm with has faith and he believes? Yes, because the bottom line is if you're yoked up with me, there's going to be influence of me on your life.
That's kind of where we differ at. She's more of a spiritual, put it in the air, you know, I pray on it type of person. And I'm total opposite. I'm not going to pray on it. I'm going to go get it.
I have to really, in that moment, consider that. Like, is this really the man for me? When it comes to Ron, I really don't know what decision I'm going to make.
Yeah, I have some time to do. You know, it's...
Okay, so again, with this religion thing, I think this is going to be a really difficult thing for Alexis and Ron to get past. Ron is like, yeah, like, if something going on, she gonna pray about it, put it in the air. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna pray on it. I'm just gonna go get it. She's saying, like, if we're yoked up together, my life is gonna rub off on you. And he's like, I don't want to be forced into the church. Like, I just don't think that they're meshing. They're not equally yoked, apparently. And it doesn't even seem like Ron is actually that interested in doing. He's like, I'm not gonna become a pastor. If she wants that, then that's probably not me. And in the moment when he said it, is like, she's super spiritual and all this, but that's not me. It just sounds like they're not on the same page. And Joseph is like, y'all need to talk. Y'all got some stuff to talk about. And he right. So Vernicia is meeting up with, looks like a friend of hers.
A friend that owns a nail bar. I thought it would be cool.
So she invited the ladies.
That were available to come and get a little
Alexis, Liz, Kyra.
So today we're going to be doing
at a
something
nail
really
bar.
special.
Okay. Cute little meetup girls.
So describe him a little bit.
Oh. Tall, not dark, funny, New Orleans, baby, everything, you know. He possesses a lot of qualities that I like.
It's a suburban smash with the Seagrams.
You taking Joel in.
Did you know? Okay, well, I'm ready to tell you about my man. He's short
Okay,
and
so
fine.
probably some rough.
He's short and fine. That's what Alexis said.
Oh, yeah.
Does it taste like him?
It tastes just like Ron.
He's strong but refreshing. Margarita. And then I'm going to top it with some Jamaican Me Happy. And with sugar called Jason. Thank you very much.
They like him too. Just
So I thought that was cute. They had a little bartender, a nail bar that Vernicia's friend owns. And so she brought the ladies who were available to come, which is Liz, Alexis, Kyra, and herself. And so the bartender is like making them drinks. She's like, tell me about your guy. So she's like, New Orleans, you know, baby, all the things I like, whatever, Joelle. She made her drink. They're making them all with the Seagrams. I guess that's the sponsor. And Alexis was like, he's short and fine, I guess. Talking about Ron. Kyra got the Jason drink. And then, of course, Liz got the David drink. Again, she has no clue that David put her on the bottom and almost got her sent home. It's a mess.
So how is this process making y'all feel? I'm going to start with me. I think I've learned some things about me that I didn't know. I got more emotions than I thought I had.
You're a woman, you're human, you're emotional.
It may have been because it's been a long time since I've had to
Be open in that way.
absolutely.
You know, what we haven't had a taste of tonight is AJ.
I don't think Kyra is ready to let go of AJ.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay, Bernicia.
No, you don't.
Am I wholeheartedly ready to like close the door on that? No.
You know what?
Kyra still like
Let
AJ.
me have a chase.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
The kiss wasn't enough, so I just wanted a little taste.
Oh, baby, don't let me.
Liz decided to order a taste of Jason. That's cool.
I would like a take.
So then Liz orders a different drink. So I just want to taste a Jason. The kiss was okay, but I think she just poking fun at Kyra and trying to make her a little bit jealous because right now in the moment they're saying, Kyra, I don't think you're ready to give up on AJ, even though Jason is your number one.
It's of David.
So now now Kyra getting her a taste of David. So she gonna get the David drink.
Yes, they do.
Look at y'all. I hope y'all taste crap here. Oh, really? You had to add that on there. You hope it tastes good.
It smells good. I'm not mad.
Although we may be feeling the same dudes, getting the ladies together gave us the opportunity to get to know each other better. And I'm just happy that I'm not in a little triangle. Hey, let me tell y'all something. I'm the only one that ain't been
Girl, Alexa's outfit, honey, this sparkle sequence. It is a mess. It's a jumpsuit. I do not like it, honey. It's too glamorous for this little night. Girls day in. Everybody else just look normal. She got too much going on.
The challenge this week that Tommy gave us was to invite
That necklace Liz got on is so
sit
cute.
down and talk with our number ones.
Okay, so now Liz's ex is gonna meet David.
Clarence is a guy that just fight BS and takes no mess. We dated, but we saw that we were better off friends, and so he's almost like a big brother.
So this
I'm
is
happy that you came
Clarence.
because I want to talk to you about this guy. And so me and David, we just click when it comes to really spiritual things. But I do have some concerns. I actually got a chance to meet his friends the other day. The date and everything was fine, but off camera, he kind of switched up on me. So what what really hurt me and what really shocked me was off camera, David asked me what I did that day in front of his friends. And I told him, you know, I got a chance to meet Jason's friends. And he looked at me, he was like, oh, did you kiss Jason again? In front of his friends. I was embarrassed because I'm sitting up here like, why would you do me like that?
Okay, so Liz is saying when the cameras kind of cut, she was still on a date last week with Jason and his friends. I'm sorry, with David and his friends. And remember, David said, well, Liz called me to tell me right after the kiss that she had kissed Jason and that I was still her number one. She still really wanted to pursue me or for us to pursue one another. And so he acts like it was cool and that was it. He gave her props for reaching out to him. Because mind you, they on a dating show and they all date people. But she said when the cameras cut in front of his friends, he asked her what she did today. She said, hey, you know, I actually got a chance to meet with Jason and some of his friends. And he was like, did you kiss Jason again in front of his friends? And she was like, she didn't like that energy and like, why would you put me out there like that? Because now your friends are going to think a way about me. Even though he had probably already told him about this kiss, it didn't feel right. And I don't like that. Oh, David, this is the crazy part because I've also watched like some of his lives on Instagram and stuff like that. And he's been portrayed horribly and he didn't think anything wrong of it. But then what she's saying is kind of contrary. Like, you were butthurt that she kissed somebody else. You should have been pursuing her and kiss her, but you just assumed that if she was that into you, she wouldn't have kissed anybody else. But you guys are on a dating show getting to know people. He made a move you didn't. I don't like it.
In confidence. So to me, that's a red flag. I want a man that I can feel safe with, be vulnerable around, and share things with. That when I share something intimate with you, you're gonna protect that. That's why I really want you here, because I need to see, like, what do you feel?
I don't like that already.
What's up, everybody? Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How you doing? All right? David, man, good to meet you. Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
I walk in, I see the gentleman on the other side of this table. So what is going on?
So this is Clarence. Me and Clarence dated in the past, and he has become one of my good friends.
This is a very interesting twist, right? Bro, it ain't like every day you can say you get to meet your interest X.
It's a pleasure meeting you, but at the same time, I have some questions.
Okay, so it's not a pleasure anymore?
I like to get to the bottom of things.
For sure. I was a little taken back.
Okay, so this one is way more awkward than the other two just previously were. And it's probably David's energy and the fact that Liz just shared that tidbit with Clarence before David even walks in. He walks in and is like, okay, who is this man? I don't know. He's not a part of the cast. And so he says something like, okay, she introduces him. This is the guy today, but he's one of my really close friends now. He's like, okay, this is kind of an interesting situation. How often can you say you've met an ex of your interest? And the guy's like, listen, I just want to get to the bottom of stuff. He's like, wait, so it's not a pleasure to meet you? Like, this isn't, like, where are we going with this? He's like, I got some questions I want to get to the bottom of. I'm like, Claire, you're probably being a little bit too overprotective in this moment. Like, let the conversation flow, because now you got him on guard. Even though, yeah, David needs to answer for that, but I don't know how this is going to go, guys.
By this ex, my man came out the gate swinging. I got a question just to set the tone and to understanding the relationship. Last time that there was any level of intimacy with y'all?
Honestly, I think we kissed one time, and that was, I can't even tell you how many years ago.
It was
Gotcha.
I connected with.
So there again, David can't just let bygones be bygones. It's an ex. Does it really matter? You're not dating her, so you don't need to know when the last time they was intimate or not. But he asked the question to set the tone. When's the last time you guys were intimate? Like, what if he said yesterday she's a single woman? It could have been yesterday. But of course, Clarence was like, I mean, we kissed once and it was like so many years ago. I can't even recall how many years ago that was. And I guess he's trying to get a perspective of like, are you like, I don't know, David.
Fact that him bringing up the kiss with Jason in front of his friends, and then meeting my ex, bringing up when's the last time you guys kissed and been intimate, that was an issue for him. That tells me that when he told me, oh, it's not a big deal, I understand, we're good, that he wasn't truthful about that, because obviously that bothered him.
And Liz is calling it out now.
Is communication to you?
Probably the most important thing in a relationship. I love a woman that's a safe place, no matter what I tell her.
So do you feel like you're a safe place for her?
Yes, I think I would be a safe place.
Okay, because prior to your arrival, she shared with me, she told you something in confidence.
Okay.
Kiss with somebody else. And she felt betrayed that you mentioned it in front of your friends.
So now I do think this conversation Liz should have had with David. I don't know if she did or didn't, but before Clarence brings it up to him, like she felt, betrayed by you saying it in front of your friends. I think she should have talked to him about that on her own first. Like, I can't believe you did me like that, but we're going to see how this play out.
How do you feel explaining you being a safe place after doing that?
So this is more so to Liz. If you told me, Dave, just going forward, I don't feel comfortable with certain things you may share, then I have to learn from you.
Did you notice with her gestures suggested in the moment.
Like her body language.
No,
Did she change?
It's not that it didn't matter. Knowing how I see you, knowing how I value you, and the platform that I put you on, you're solid to me. I mean that. Like, ain't no other Liz.
It feels like at this moment he was not being honest, and when he was called out on it, he was trying to fix the situation by showering me with compliments. That made me very uncomfortable and very uneasy. I'll be honest, I have felt a disconnect with you, and it really solidified that day.
This whole conversation and you being here and her being here, I want to like just kind of bring down the strength in the room right now.
Oh, because
Yeah.
I'm an alpha. I don't know how to be weak.
I just have a lot to process.
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and roll. I'm gonna let y'all catch up.
Okay, so Dave is basically like, is you here, I'm here, I'm bringing down the strength, I'm going peace out. But so even in the moment when Clarence called him out on it, and he's like, well, did you notice her mannerisms or her body language or anything changed? And he was like, no. And he's like, did you care to? Were you looking to see how she reacted when you said that to your friends? Did you care? So then he goes and turns to Liz, like, I put you on the platform, you're solid, like, I like you. And she's like, I'm feeling uncomfortable in this because one, you're negating the question. You're not even going back and saying, like, you know what, I shouldn't have said it. You're not taking accountability. None of that. You just acting like what you did was fine, but you got to learn me or whatever. And she's like, I'm feeling a disconnect. So I've been feeling that, and that really solidified it that day when you did that to me. And I didn't want to go. He like, I'm going to let y'all catch up.
I like that. We grown. And I want to make sure that grown people have a chance to speak to each other one-on-one without a third party getting involved. I don't think the dinner or this whole thing went out well. We grown.
That did not go well.
He's a smooth talker. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you want a seesaw of emotions. He know what to say to make you feel some type of way. This is my thing though. If you're going to be one way with me in private and someone totally different in public, then how do I know who the real you is?
Good point. So her ex, Liz's ex Clarence, said, if you're going to be, like, he a real smooth talker. He says the things that he thinks you want to hear that's going to get you to behave a certain way. But how do I know if you act one way in private and a different way in public? And I mean, he brings up a good point with David. It's like, you could see, and I'm not going to call it manipulation, and I don't want to say bad things about him because I have seen his live, and I know that, you know, his kids and stuff watch the show and all that stuff. So, I don't know, but I'm not really feeling it right now. At least him and Liz at all.
Cheers to another day.
So Jason and Kyra are together.
I settled on an ex to meet Jason, and his name is Timothy. Although this is something that I would never do, being pushed to do it, I'm hoping that it brings some fruit to light in helping me and Jason move forward.
Kyra said she settled on an ex for Jason to meet. I guess she got a lot of them. She was like, let me choose. And so this guy Timothy is who is going to meet Jason. She said she would never do this, but because she's been kind of forced to do so, and she's going to go ahead and do it and hope it works out.
So, I've invited you over because I think that it might be more insightful for you to meet someone that is an ex of mine.
Who says you say what?
Someone that is an ex.
Oh, wow.
What I will say, though, is she's the only one who had the guy from the show come first and then tell him that I'm going to have you meet an ex of mine instead of them being kind of blindsided. So I'm sure Jason appreciated that.
So what's up? 1 minute today.
Okay, now
I've been doing a journey.
Amber and her ex Tony are sitting down.
Today with the ex, I'm feeling nervous. Our history is a little rocky.
Chris shows up.
I love it. How's your boyfriend been?
How's it going? Nice
This
to meet
is
you.
Tony.
Nice to meet you, Tony. Chris. How y'all doing?
So I brought you here today to meet my ex.
Oh, wow.
This is Jason. This is Tim.
Like these brothers?
Oh, they're doing virtual. Kyra's ex is doing
Kyra is
virtual
still in
with
the process.
Jason.
She likes maybe 2 or 3 other guys. So when she told me exactly what was going on, the word I would say just unexpected. Okay, let me ask you, how long you been single? How long you been dating out of your area?
How long have you been single?
So I've been single for about 1.5 years now. Are you on the back end or ready to settle down? So far as the journey is considered, I'm looking for a wife. Dope. All right, so
Kyra's ex got pushed.
Stressful situations. I say for sure, like she's not one of those people that let things go. If we had a problem, would you let it linger with us too? Trying to get insight on how she moves about with relationships. Communication is big. I'm kind of picking up that vibe as though maybe Kyra's not good at opening up.
So, Greg, you interested in having a family?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Jason asks, he turns the tables and he asks the ex of Kyra's over Zoom, I guess. It's a video chat. And she asked how she deal with stressful situations. And he was like, she kind of lets things linger. She don't let them go. So Jason is like, that can kind of be a red flag.
Absolutely. I would like a starting 5, but I'll take 3 first.
Oh, you want 5
kids?
Why not?
You can tell me that.
Chris said he want 5 kids.
What can I say? I mean, all this talent that's bottled up inside of me, I'm like, we gotta pass on these genes.
Amber, like, you can say 5.
How you feel about that, Amber?
5 kids?
Yeah, or 3.
That's fine.
Oh, she said that's fine.
Motherhood is like first to me. Like I would rather be a mother than a wife. I know it sounds weird, but I want to be a mother for sure. That's never gonna change.
I want to know, is Kyra financially responsible? She knows how much she has, but that's still different from having a budget and having a goal in mind that you want to build and work to, you know?
Jason asked a good question. He asked, was Kyra fiscally responsible? And her ex was like, I mean, she has finances or she has money, but that's different from actually like having a budget and stuff like that.
I'm saying, I feel like you could show her some different techniques in y'all relationship. You may have to do that. Okay. Hearing this is a shock because my perspective with Kyra was, are you the type of person that you'll splurge on, a trip and all of your bills are not paid? Man, it was really nice talking to you. Share that down with me, get some more insight about this lovely queen right here.
I'm gonna walk him out.
All right, cool.
I was kind of in an uncomfortable position. Jason was getting the information that he needed to know, but doing that, we're going to have to get under some of the ugly stuff. And I know I'm not the best with money management. I'm learning though. I am getting better. So, what do you think about him?
I can tell y'all vibe well, and especially if he gonna help you on the financial tip. But
like you say, like I don't budget what I do have to pay. Yeah. That's my own personal thing to work through. Like he doesn't give me any reservations in making that move and decision with him.
Honestly.
So the guy was like, if he gonna help you with your money, she said she's not the best, but she's getting better with her budget and stuff Kyra did. And so the ex is like, I mean, if he gonna help you with that, y'all got a good chemistry, y'all got a good vibe. So I guess he gets to go ahead from the ex.
I feel like you all are friends beyond,
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, this
they
is
were walking on eggshells with the whole them being exes and lying.
We had an obstacle that we had to go through with him, and it did shock me. It did upset me.
Yeah. And honestly, I can feel it. I'm like, what's going on here?
So Chris is basically saying, y'all seem like y'all are more friends, not just exes, and that, y'all kind of walking on eggshells, and then, the guy's like, yeah, like just keep smiling still. So I don't know. She said they had a rocky kind of relationship, so she said there was something that they had to go through together that kind of shocked her. So I'm not sure what it is, but maybe they got lingering feelings for one another, Amber and her ex.
Just keep watching. We had an obstacle that we had to go through with him, and it did shock me. It did upset me.
Yeah. When we were together, I came out. I'm interested in guys, so I also like guys. And so she was literally taken back, and so we had a conversation about it.
I think I just knew I needed to be there for him, and
I did learn a lot of strength from that situation. I was able to put myself aside. Yeah.
That's what's up.
So Amber's ex, basically she goes into it like, yeah, something did come out. We had to go through something together that did shock me and surprise me. It upset me. And basically the guy say, yeah, you know, I came out while we were dating and I'm interested in guys. I'm also interested in guys. And so she's basically saying she felt like she needed to be there for him through that. So I guess they probably are really still friends. But Chris has nothing to worry about.
They opened up. I thought to myself, like, wow, it made me feel really good and even more comfortable being around Amber.
What I will say is that she has changed since we were together. She's become more understanding, especially what I put her through.
This moment was a blessing in disguise. I learned a lot about Chris. He's very open to my ex sharing with him, and he's not uncomfortable. But would I do it again? That would be a hell to the no.
She said, I'm not doing this again. No more exes meeting people. Oh, they kiss. Oh, they're cute. She gave Chris a kiss. Okay, the ladies, Jason, must be a...
Last week at the Juniors Lounge, it was a happy one, and I'm feeling torn.
Must be a double kind of date. I saw Liz come in, Jason, AJ, and Alexa.
All the stuff that I heard with her, it definitely had me questioning where I'm standing.
So I think everybody want to go on other dates because Kyra was mentioned and that was their top. So now they trying to see what their other connections look like, Jason and AJ.
I see you messing with the hat.
You always be trying to mess with it. So I asked her out on a date and invited Jason and Liz for support.
What you get?
It's called a smooth persuasion right here.
Why you laughing at that?
Because that sounds like somebody I know. I'm really scared of AJ, to be quite honest, because I'm very fearful that he's going to break my heart. I definitely like him, but he doesn't make me feel very secure in our relationship. But he sits next to me, and there goes the butterflies. So what's going on with y'all?
This one right here has been growing on me like something fierce. Kyra's a great catch. But after the date with her, her ex, I'm starting to feel a little confused. At the same time, I had this other queen, and I've been enjoying every single last date that I've been on to the fullest.
Say that last line again.
Yeah, I enjoyed every single last date that I've been on. What we watching over here?
Okay, so these guys, listen. Jason now is talking to Liz, and basically he's saying, I've been enjoying every single day with her, and, I got this queen. And after the date, basically with Kyra's ex, I guess about the whole financial thing and maybe the communication piece, he not feeling Liz, which is a 180 from last week when he talked to the friends and they said she was stiff. And he said, you know what, Kyra's better for me and all this stuff. So now you want to flip-flop again? Like, I don't understand this. They just trying to stay on the show at this point. Like, yes, he likes Liz. And the thing is, Liz is probably giving him way more attention because David is messing up, if you ask me. So, yeah, this is interesting. And AJ and Alexis, like, she don't really trust him. Like, of course, the butterflies are back. So Alexis is very much so attracted to AJ, and he is like giving her butterflies, but she says she can't trust herself with him or her heart with him because he's kind of wishy-washy when a relationship comes. And I think it's the same thing. He really liked her, but Jason really liked him. And then two other men last week said her name, so they like, okay, we gonna stick around. It ain't gonna be Kyra, who's probably picking all of us. So we gotta sit here and weigh our options, and that's what this is all about.
I know he's got his connection with Kyra, but Jason makes me feel like a kid.
But y'all do look good.
I appreciate it.
I feel the energy.
No, she flies, so she always matched the fly. Okay, Jack.
People have asked me, like, what is it about AJ? What is it about y'all? It's just some, what I call magical energy and connection. That's so important to me in a relationship, and I have that with him. It's like literally I have butterflies when I'm with him, which kind of confuses me, and I think it also scares me. And I'm going to say this. You are definitely the type
that I could easily fall in love with.
That's big. That's the love word.
I knew that immediately.
Yeah.
But I haven't let my guard down completely because I feel like you would break my heart.
So Lexus basically puts it out there in front of the whole foursome, letting AJ know, which is probably an awkward scenario, but she's like, I knew it from the beginning when I saw you that you were somebody I could fall in love with, which is kind of strange because Jason's there and Jason was the number one. She was like, I want you, until he was like, I don't really want you. So that's a little something right there. But yeah, she was like, I knew I could fall in love with you. I just haven't let my guard down. Like, you give me butterflies and all this stuff. Like, she's laying it on rather thick. I'm going to see how he picks it up.
Yeah.
So the reason why I said, if I were to be honest, why I was like, I'm choosing Ron is because Ron chose me.
Hey, girl. I'm a different guy than Ron. If she feels more safe and consistent and all these other things that she has over there with him that she doesn't have with me, then it seems like she made a choice. But the very fact that she's here on this date, I'm not so sure.
It sounds like she is saying that you haven't said, hey, look, I'm going to pursue you. I like you.
Yeah, but I haven't said that to anyone.
So it's like, what do I do? And every time he said, come here and pick something that you don't ordinarily do, and then I did that. But then, like, I'm still feeling AJ. I need for you to make a decision about what you want. I'm not willing to be second choice. What I'm looking for is a person that made a decision in their heart just as much as I made the decision. I know I'm good enough. I know I'm all that in the bag of chips. I don't need you to tell me that.
Can I shut you up real fast?
Oh, my goodness.
Right, come here.
Oh, hey!
Okay, so again, I feel like AJ is trying to get out of this conversation. So she basically says, well, the reason I chose Ron is because Ron chose me. And then Jason is trying to interpret her words, which don't need any interpreting. They were pretty clear to me. And he says, AJ, she's saying that you have not chose her. And he said, well, I haven't said that to anybody. I'm not telling anybody that I'm pursuing them, which is the problem, AJ. Nobody knows where you stand, so nobody's picking you because other people have made it in their hearts and minds and whatever, and verbally said to people like, I'm pursuing you. So he says, let me shut you up for a minute. And then he goes in for a kiss. That doesn't mean you still pursue it. That doesn't say any of the things. You're just basically leading with, she says she's attracted to you. She gets butterflies. So you playing that sexual card again.
Today, okay.
This lady like, my God, today.
Can we calm you down?
Man, this feels so good. This is magical. That's that thing that in my belly that I keep feeling.
She likes
when
him.
I'm near him.
I hear your concerns. I hear what it is that you're thinking may be possible. Be here with me right now and know that I'm serious in my pursuit of you. I'm not just here telling you something that sounds good.
Alexis, you got a decision to make now, sister girl. Because I've been feeling the heat.
I wasn't expecting.
My mom said when you kiss, you get pregnant. So you got to be careful with the damn kisses, baby.
Lord. So he did go ahead and say, I just want you to know I'm being serious in my pursuit of you. I don't buy it, but I think he does feel the vibes that Kyra really is into Jason. But just like Alexis is saying, they both think that the better guys for them would be Jason and Ron, but they are so into AJ. He's the bad boy. He's the mysterious one. And so that's what I really want. They say women pick the bad boys all the time, and this is a prime example. And so that's why AJ is still hanging on, because they still both somewhat choose him, even though they have these other guys that are their number ones. Actually, if he ever chose them, they would all go for him. Okay. Alexis is showing up at Tommy and his wife's house.
White rosé.
Oh, it must be where the ladies' lounge is again.
It just feels like you're at home.
At their house again.
Hey.
Welcome, plates.
Oh, Tommy, you got food, man.
I'm cooking with love.
Miss Jackie and Thomas. I mean, I'm talking about king and queen of the castle.
My favorite place, the kitchen.
I really hope and pray that I find my king
because this is how I really would like to spend the rest of my days.
Welcome back to the new Ladies Lounge. Can you get used to this?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been waiting all week about these dates.
Can't wait.
New boo, old boo, same room. But before we dive into the juicy details, I'd like to take credit for all the advice I normally give y'all. Ain't gonna lie, 80% be coming from right here.
Of course, I'm sure.
So Jack is here to help you ladies work through your feelings. Y'all ready for the mild 1-2 punch?
Absolutely. I'm ready to hear about all the dates with your exes. So come on, let's spill the tea.
Bernicia!
So this ex was David. Ironically, he's from Louisiana and Joel is from Louisiana. So he was like, you know, how you doing, baby?
Bernicia got a type.
Joel asked him.
Her ex is also from New Orleans.
Like, she's not
or Louisiana, rather.
It gave me some clarity, you know, on where I feel like we stand. It gave Joel some clarity on me and who I am as a person. And in the end, he was like, I like him for you. I can see this.
Alexis Fly Jones.
I had to go back to the guy that I was dating before my husband.
We went way back.
What was interesting about our relationship, I basically helped bring him to his faith. And then Ron immediately was like, you just look like you dripping in religion. Ooh.
That bothers you.
Oh, it bothers the core of me. Because I know that's such a concern with Ron, and I feel like I'm constantly having to prove to him that I'm not this judgmental Christian. I'm like everybody else. So it's like, stop with that. Something else he said in that conversation, he was like, I'm not going to go pray about it. I'm just going to be about it. I'm going to go and make it happen. She may just go pray, but I ain't going to be praying with her. And it's the way he said it. Yeah.
How does that make you feel like about developing a relationship with a guy like that? Because I know you still want a man of faith.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't want that to be, okay, we just don't talk. But at the same time, it is a non-negotiable in terms of prayer being the basic foundation of faith.
The man, he has to be the head of the house.
I'm about
and
to
she
shout.
has to lead his family. You know?
So let me ask you this, Lex. Does this make you feel different about Ron? And how many times are we going to get to that moment?
I know.
So basically, Alexis goes in on her date with Ron. Same thing I was saying before. And she's like, it's kind of how he said it. Like, she going to go pray. But I'm not going to be praying. I'm going to be about it. If I want something, I'm going to go get it. It just came off really... It just wasn't a good vibe. And she didn't like how that felt. It's almost like he keeps thinking that she's going to be this judgmental Christian. She's like, that's not who I am. I'm just a regular person. But you're so caught up on this whole faith situation. It is a non-negotiable for me, but you seem like you ain't even really wanting to try. So basically, Tommy is like, okay, you feel a little different about him. How long are we going to keep going back and forth on that?
If we decide to make this a relationship, every Sunday, we going to get to this moment.
That's true. Oh, God.
I know you're his
Every Sunday, because he ain't going to church for her every Sunday.
But when you take God out of it, what does that do for you?
She's finna cry.
I spent so much time saying that I was confident about my decision and I was happy that this was the person that chose me. But the core of what has kept me together for 5 years, it was God that I leaned on. So I don't ever want to be in a position where I feel like I have to choose God in my spiritual life over the man that I desire to be with.
Let me tell you something. When we broke ground on this land, the first thing we did
was prayer.
Was invite our friends and pray. Because we were so glad that God blessed us with it. So that is the first thing we did. So I leave you with this. You got a lot to pray about.
She's getting super emotional because God has been there for her for 5 years, and she's like, I'm not choosing my relationship with God.
My ex, his name is Clarence. He really acted like a big brother. And I told Clarence about how much I really liked David. But one thing that got me was that something that I shared with David in private, which was the kiss that I shared with Jason, he brought it up to his friend. Hold on now. And with that being the first time I'm meeting your friend's first impression, why would you do that? Because I didn't have to tell you Jack. So when Clarence was talking to him, it got so intense.
Saw another person.
Yeah. I was unwise was the words that I used when I said he had my heart. What I meant when I said it was that because we have commonality that we share, deep spiritual roots, those were the things that had my heart.
Okay.
I should have said he had my deep interest.
Wow. This is what we mean when we talk about pulling all the layers back, and let's get all the way down to...
So what Liz is saying is back when she was talking to David and she was like, I was with Jason. He kissed me. I kissed him back. But you still have my heart. She said she used the wrong choice of words. She shouldn't have told him that he had her heart, but some of their deep interests, some of their spiritual beliefs and their interests is what actually had her heart. So she said she should have said, you still have my deep interest and not my heart, because he doesn't necessarily have her heart.
Bottom of the onion. Sometimes you're going to cry. All right, ladies. Tommy got one question for you. If the process ended tonight, who would you leave with?
Okay, the ladies get the same question. Who will you leave with if it ended today?
I will leave with Jason.
Kyra says Jason.
I would go with Jason.
So did Liz. So Liz actually pulled what we thought David pulled last week, even though we saw more of the deterioration of her and David's relationship this week. We hadn't actually seen it. When David pulled Kyra, it seems like out of nowhere, but what he said is those were his top two, Kyra and Liz, the whole time. We only kept hearing him say Liz. So she picked Jason, but that threw Kyra off, like, pick Jason?
Jason, I was kind of like, okay. I know about y'all connection. I'm not worried about it. Focus on me and Jason, but now my radar is going up.
Miss Benicia.
Of course, I'm leaving with Joel.
Joel.
Marnisha is still picking Joel.
You right there, bitch. You know?
Amber. I would choose Chris.
Amber picks Chris. No harm, no foul. We already know that.
Alexis. I'm sitting over here with me and my cheeks.
As many times as there's been challenges and emotion, there have been a lot of good surprises.
Okay.
So we went on this double date. I went with AJ, Liz went with Jason. I started sharing, what I was sharing. And as I'm talking, that man pulled me in there thinking, he looked like me. Oh my God.
So Alexis telling Kyra all about the kiss now, when she's telling all the ladies about the kiss with AJ in the double date.
I'm in his presence. It's very lovey-dovey. It's very romantic.
All right.
Kyra feeling away.
A few gentlemen that are definitely in question this week. So that means it's going to be a real tough decision for you guys.
I was wondering.
It just got real, didn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. I came here to make the right choice. So I'm dealing with all these questions in my head. And all I know is that I prayed about it, and all I heard the Holy Spirit say, you're not going to know until you arrive.
Baby, when we
I think
leave,
it might be Ron.
Words with these ladies.
I know
I think Ron might be going home.
Yes.
So just follow your heart and definitely pray about it. Like sincerely pray about it.
Yeah.
Go with your gut instinct. That female gut instinct.
And David is probably on the chopping
Just go
block.
with it.
Maybe him and Ron.
That's good.
And David actually might go home today. Okay, so Alexis is waiting for Ron. I thought he would be on the bottom today. Surprised she's the one talking to him though.
Going into the date with Ron, I'm going to tell you I was nervous. After experiencing that ex-date
Oh,
and
she
hearing
actually
some of
looks
the
cute
things that
today.
he
Her
was
outfit is
saying,
cute.
I wanted him to come in to tell him a little bit more of how I feel.
Liz, and I'm assuming it's
That's
going to be
what I'm waiting
David.
for David to
Yeah.
arrive. I'm a little nervous because I'm not sure where he's at as far as his headspace. We hadn't talked in a while, so I'm not exactly sure what's going to come out of the meeting. I'm hoping that he will hear me out.
Being that Ron and Alexis only have each other, but David still had Kyra in the background, he may not go home, but
I want to talk to you about what you
Not
said
sure who.
specifically. Because basically, you met my ex. I know we talked about a lot of stuff. I guess I want to debrief from that. I want to be able to be cordial, but at the same time, be transparent and be honest about my feelings. The one thing that really bothered me was when you met him, you said, you dripping in religion. And I feel like that was kind of a condescending statement.
I asked, is he religious?
It's kind of judgy, and I guess it's the thing that I have worked so hard for you not to feel like. So it kind of caught me off guard. And then, the prayer thing, of course, your number one thing is, I'm just gonna get it done. That was hard for me to receive because I need you to lead my home in that way, and especially with my sons. That's how I want to raise my children.
No, but I didn't say don't pray. I'm a household leader. That's me and my divine masculine, which I don't know how long you've had that in your presence, on a daily basis.
Divine masculine, you don't know how long I've had that on a daily basis. Wow. Okay.
Dismissing prayer at that time was a little offensive to Alexis because it hasn't worked for her in the past. You do what works for you. I do what works for me. You can stay here and pray for me, but I'm out the door handling the situation.
Thank you.
Okay, there again, Alexis is trying to have a transparent conversation with Ron, letting him know like some of the things that he said that she told the ladies and Tommy and his wife that kind of offended her in the conversation with her ex. And there again, he's in the confessional talking about, you do what work for you, I do what work for me. You can stay here and pray for me, but I'm not about to do it. Like, sir, y'all not on the same page. And at this point, you need to cut her loose because she's still sitting up here trying to consider, and you want nothing in line with what she wants. She want to raise her kids with the church. You talking about this divine masculine, and you don't know how long she had that in her life. Like, he's being very condescending, and I don't like it.
Thank you for coming.
Of course, I wanted you to. I hadn't really talked to Liz since the date with the ex-boyfriend, and so I'm ready to just kind of share my feelings, my thoughts, and really uncover some things. I want to leave.
No.
Let me, Liz.
Because it's been a long time, and I need to talk to you because...
Liz.
Okay, so David is like, Liz, let me lead. First of all, sir, I brought you here. Let me get off my chest what I want to get off my chest, but he won't let her. So they going back and forth. Let me lead, Liz. Let me be the man, let me lead. And she like, no, let me talk. David, you're doing too much, sir. He's standing up over her. So she stands up too. This is too much.
Through this whole time, you've been very consistent. And honestly, for me, it has been you. You were my number one. And I was happy because it was like a man chose me.
That kind of rubbed me off the wrong way. For you to say you were interested because I picked you, it was almost like you were looking for validation.
But wait a minute. So are you on this whole, I'm just picking her, or I'm saying she the one because what she could offer me, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm just
This
saying.
isn't going well.
Hold on now.
Oh, this isn't going well at all. So Alexis is basically trying to be transparent with Ron again. He's super defensive. I guess he knows where we are with this situation. And she's saying, I've always been saying you're my number one, and you've been very consistent. And I think I was saying it because you chose me. I was choosing someone who also chose me. And he like basically taking offense to that. Like, oh, so now you acting like you only want me because I chose you. And she's like, well, do you want me because that's something I can offer you? He's like, you can offer me anything. Like, Ron, get it together.
I can't offer you anything. What do
What do you mean by that saying? Like, you might offer me, like, what can you offer?
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I don't even know if you hear yourself when you're saying it. The way that you perceive yourself, it comes off like real condescending. That's the only word I have.
It's very condescending.
And I don't do that. You do that more than me than I truly do.
Okay.
I wanted you here so I could express it. I wanted you here so I could share some things with you. Liz, I wanted to express some things.
You didn't let me finish talking because I started talking. I would love for David.
We're not getting nowhere.
You interrupted me when I was trying to talk.
So Liz, will you allow me to do that?
Well, will you allow me to speak? You are a gentleman, right? You're a gentleman, and I know you're a gentleman, and you allow
Let's sit down, discuss it.
Okay.
So basically, that was going nowhere fast. David then stood up. Let me lead. Like he's being overbearing. That's all I could say. And Liz is like, well, I'm a lady. You let me talk. He like, let's just sit down. Let's just do this. And he goes to like kind of push her down and says to be continued. I'm sure she's not having it because he's being very overbearing. He's in her personal space. Sir, just sit down and listen. David, it's not always about you. You don't have to lead every single conversation. She wants to talk, let her talk, and then you go. I don't like it. I don't know what's happening next week, but apparently nobody got eliminated this week. It is to be continued. I can't wait to see the previews for next week. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. This is it is a crapshoot right now with Ron and Alexis. And I'm sure one of them was probably supposed to stay, but at this point, they both need to go home because Ron is being very condescending and super offensive to Alexis. And David is being overbearing and just like trying to overpower Liz. I don't like it at all. But it does look like Joel and Vernisha may be back on my top. Let me know what y'all think. This has been one heck of an episode. And I can't wait to see what happens next week. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Simply Living Podcast, episode 8 of Ready to Love on OWN Network, season number 4. Please come back, like this video, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about it. Please also subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you can always be notified each and every time I post. And last but not least, share my videos. Share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the excitement, share the fun. And until next time, see you.